We had this part redone like 2 years ago, and it never got sealed, which is our mistake. But it needs to be cleaned up and sealed.
Sure.
And then this needs to be done, but down here,
yeah,
it's just falling apart. Over here and then down here too. You know, it's wood, and over time it's just rotting. So this is starting to rot too right here.
It is. I can tell. It's getting real dark.
Yeah, and then here, right down here. It's starting to rot right here.
Sure, I understand. Okay. There's a couple ways we can approach this. What would make you happy? One is to only repair that board of which has been affected, and only that section. The other one is to try and maybe anticipate, like for example this board. We know that this one looks real bad. It's gone.
Right.
And the one beside it's starting to get holes.
Right.
And that's starting to get holes but less. And the next one has almost got a hole.
Right.
And before we get to here, it looks like we start to get a board that's continuous. But that's split.
Yeah.
And this one looks like it's starting to something in here.
Yep.
And around that nail is starting to see. That was my question. You have to help us really choose exactly what you want to do.
It might come down to cost.
Of everything.
Because I think, I mean, what would be nice is just to kind of pull up the whole thing. And what I was thinking is, you know, that stuff that's plastic. Because then, because it's on, I mean, this is always, it's going to continually happen here.
I mean, I was thinking concrete. Once you do it, it's done forever. You know, you put concrete on the ground because it's permanent, and it's similar in cost to a continual maintenance system. And then you can have your ramp terminate on concrete. You don't have to have concrete ramp. But here again, my goal is in my role here is to think out loud, to give you options, let you choose, and then we implement.
Yeah. The one thing, I hadn't thought about concrete.
Yeah.
My only thought about concrete is it's harder to make a change once it's here.
Oh, it is. You have to knock it out, and
you know,
it's not wood.
Where if it's like that plastic stuff, then you know it's easier to.
The plastic stuff that's called the lots of things called Trex.
Yeah.
Trex decking is one word. And there's a lot of different companies make Trex.
And that might be, I don't know how much. I mean, I know it's more expensive, but I don't know like how much.
All right. A single decking board, and that's what they call a 5/4. 5/4 means the thickness is true inch. 1.0 inches. The width here is 5.5. So they call it in slang it's a 1x6.
Okay.
And a 1x6 is the number 2 grade, meaning it's got a couple knocks. It's not a bad board, it just has a couple of knocks. It's 50 cents a linear foot.
For a wood?
For wood.
Okay.
It's $6 for 12 foot. Like we call it a stick. $6 a stick. Trex is double or triple.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. So, so the wood is 50 cents, and the Trex is what?
It's about $6 a stick for this. Trex is about 20.
Where was the 50 cents?
50 cents a linear foot.
Oh, 50 cents a linear foot. So it's $6 for the board.
Yeah.
I see.
The 12 foot, they come in 12. Usually it's a 12 foot that we work with. They come in 16s. But usually it's a 12 foot because it's simple to carry. Most things are in 12 foot widths.
So it's
like, you know,
so
maybe.
It's how much more? I'm sorry. So it's $20.
If memory serves, the Trex is running 20, whereas this is 6. And the essence is it's 2 to 3 times the cost.
Right. So, it might be worth it to me. I don't know.
It won't shut up. I'm trying to figure out if it's the same number.
Do you want to just take the call?
No, I want him to leave me alone. I'm here working with you, and I want you It's much like my students when I was teaching. I have my undivided attention, and it was not behaving as
So I'm just wondering, because we're obviously not very good at taking care of the wood. And how much would the cement be?
I'm not really sure.
How is that a cement being expensive?
See, that's a 12-foot piece.
What's that?
This is 12 foot.
Okay.
Most things, not every, most things are running 12-foot intervals in lumber like of this kind. And my guess is even this is going to be, let's see, there's 3 in a piece, which is 3, 6, 9, 12. You get 4 pieces out of, and everything is in, you know, intervals like that. So.
And then to put some, and actually, when I was weeding down, when I was cleaning up down here, this lattice work, it's falling apart down there too.
Sure it is. So. Yeah. It's what it does. And they make a product I don't much care for. It's plastics.
You don't like the plastics?
It's just my preference. I don't.
Like it either?
It doesn't look good to me. It's just the way I
hear ya.
Yeah. I wish you had about half the trees you do to make that roof last a lot longer. Roofs need sunshine. Wood needs sunshine. Everything needs sunshine. Yeah, the lattice looks pretty good over here.
It looks like it was falling apart this weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe now that it's dried out, maybe it's looking a little better. I just pulled all this stuff out this weekend.
How you doing? How are you? You all right? Where'd you go? Huh?
At the door.
Huh? You're no dummy. You know how to get out. Look at you. It's hard to make.
So if we do wood and if we seal it, then it'll last forever? No.
On decks I build, I give a lifetime warranty to my customers, and I ask them to let me come over and clean it on an annual basis. That's once a year, and we have some stuff that we get all the mold and all the mildew off, which is really the first step of maintenance. And with it clean, it's hard for that next step of decay to happen. The next thing is probably a deck that is this covered with tree and things. I would like to come over here and at least look at it every 2 years to apply a solvent of a deck coat. Cabot's makes a really good one. They come in lots of different flavors and colors and things. But if we can apply a sealer maybe every 3 or 4 years, I wouldn't go past 4. Commercial restaurants, we do an annual basis.
Okay.
They get more traffic, it makes sense. But this deck needs sunlight so badly that I would want to get the best possible thing we could on it to seal it, and then you could get 4 years on it. And I will tell you that I've seen people go 8, 12, and 16.
With sealer? But if you seal it, then it'll last for
Roughly, I would say that you might could stretch it out to 5 to 6 years before you apply a new sealer, but nothing's forever.
Oh, but as long as we apply sealer, we'll be okay. It'll last.
Theoretically. Now keep in mind that wood's not supposed to be on the ground.
But that's exactly. So that's what you're thinking, the cement. That's what you're thinking about putting the cement on there?
A long time ago, they made a chemical they pressed in the wood, and they would take all of this lumber in the massive stack, really. Some of it was, the stacks were as big as your home, and they would put it into this devices like a pressure thing, and they put actually the chemical was arsenic. Arsenic was phenomenal at like that 6x6 there in the dirt for 100 years. It would still be fine. That's why they used it. We used it for up until like 3 to 4 years ago. Right. It was arsenic.
I'm sure that this board said arsenic.
It was great. I mean, when I was a kid, I know I'd probably walk around with a piece of treated lumber and chew on it. And I got in my crib, I chewed on the lead paint in the crib. I mean, it's just what we did. Maybe that's why we are where we are today. But they changed that to copper oxide.
And copper oxide doesn't?
Well, I don't know why they changed it. I don't know whether it's, you know, it's a knee-jerk hypersensitive government, or, but, you know, the word arsenic to me means poison. And I may or may not be accurate with that, but I can tell you that if you build something, you stick it in the ground, it's going to be there 50 years later. I don't know about the copper oxide. It's not time tested. But I can tell you that that lumber, because they don't make a 5/4 that is ground contacted. They make a 4x4 that is ground contacted. That's a 4x6. I will also tell you a lot of the lumber out here is probably the arsenic treated.
Yeah, I'm certain.
And that's why it has lasted so long and done so incredibly well, that the stuff I put down here, it can't, because it's a copper oxide treatment. It's like that fence bottom over there. It's my guess it was in that arsenic generation. And it may be here in 25 years. If I would build a brand new fence today beside it, it might be here in 70. But if you take care of it, it might go 17 or 27.
Got it. But if we seal it, if we take care of it, we'll just stop.
If you seal, take care of it, you can't seal the bottom side. You only seal the top side. And this is doomed because it's the wrong material in the wrong place.
Right. That's why I was thinking about that plastic stuff.
Yeah.
And your thought is to go concrete.
Well, you know, I mean, I want to do what my customer wants to do. And once I tell you that if it was my house, I would do everything I could to get the right material in the right place, because you got to take that ramp up. You've got to basically put in a dam. Like this is a good example of if you had no foliage in here and you were going to do something. The way that we pour concrete is we build something like this and this, and we put it together, and we make basically a pool. And you pour it in and you make it flat. Same thing happens here. Something will go in the back around that edge and up to there and to here and in the front, and we'll, you know, dig it out and remove all that stuff. And we put in the rebar so it won't crack. And we pour it full of concrete, and we make it all level, flat, and pretty.
And then you put the ramp on top of the concrete.
And then we build you a new ramp or replace the old one. It's up to you, but I wouldn't replace the old one because the bottom looks like it's gone.
Right, exactly.
Here again, we'll do what you want us to do.
No, just build a new one. That's what I want.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Can you give me a quote for that tracks and for the concrete, just so we can see the difference?
Sure. Okay.